Good morning. We're going to try something a little different here. With it being the week of Christmas, I have not filmed very much, but I wanted to make this. This was something I grew up eating. This is a breakfast, but I've eaten it at 10 o'clock at night too. So it's just something comforting, and it's very, very simple, very budget friendly. It's just saltine crackers, some butter, salt and pepper if you want it, and I will, and some eggs. And what we're going to do is we're going to break the crackers up and put them in a bowl, cut off a few pats of butter and put them on top, and we're going to poach 3 eggs. My dad used to feed this to me when I was a kid, and I'm missing him right now. So I thought I would make this for breakfast. It just really also sounded wonderful. So I've got my water just starting to boil. I'm going to take a handful of crackers. I'm probably going to want more than this. And I like them not pulverized, but just broken. So they fit on a spoon, and you'll understand why. I've also I've sliced a few pieces of butter into little tiny pats, and I'm just going to do about 3. It is a little over a tablespoon of butter for all of this. The hardest part is poaching the eggs, and I don't know if that's hard. A little bit more. My dad was from Indiana, Indianapolis, around that area, and they spent their summers up in Canada. So I don't know if this is a Canadian thing. Nobody has ever heard of this that I've ever been around. So I don't know where this came from. Or if this came from the fact that that might have been all that was in their house at that moment. Who knows? But it's good. So you see my water's boiling. This is the only thing I didn't mention. You're going to take a little bit of white vinegar, just a tiniest bit, maybe a teaspoon. It's going to bubble. This is just going to help with the eggs poaching. You're going to take a wooden spoon of some sort and start swirling. Create a vortex comes. Create a funnel. You really want to get this going. My dad wasn't the cook in the house, but this is one of the things he made. And he made the best yeast rolls. All right. At this point, we're going to do them one at a time. See how it wraps back around itself? And we're going to drop the second one. It's not going to wrap as well. There we go. And you're going to let this just lightly, you want these eggs to lightly poach. You want them cooked in the middle, but you still want them really runny, because that's what you're going to put on top. And then you're going to break the egg yolks. The butter's going to melt, and you mix it all up. As I said, not the prettiest, but does taste delicious. Okay, they're nice and soft, and we're just going to take them out, and I put them on top of the pats of butter. And that's breakfast. So last night I took a pound a pound and then an extra quarter cup. So this is, let's see, this would be 2 1/4 cups of the red beans. And we're going to make red beans and rice today. My bread machine is going in the background if you hear it. But all I did last night was put the 2 1/4 cups of red beans in my Dutch oven. I filled it up over the top with water and put the lid on and let it sit all night. And In previous videos, I've made this, and I've also done it in the Instapot. I just went ahead and did this simple method today. You can do it in the Instapot to get them started, and it cuts, it takes like 30 minutes. This morning, I've got my beans soaked, and they're ready to go. This is red beans and rice. I've got 2 peppers. I've got an onion, celery. I'm going to do 1.5 lengths of the smoked sausage. Use one you really do like. It's what seasons. It's what helps seasons the beans. So don't use one that you don't like, because then you might not like this. And then the seasonings are Slap Your Mama, garlic powder. I need to grab garlic out of the refrigerator. Smoked paprika, onion powder, and some oregano. Very, very simple, very, very cheap, and this is going to feed a lot of people. So I went ahead and cut up my sausage, and I cut them up pretty thin. And I've heated up the Dutch oven. I just want to get a nice sear on both sides of this. So I always cut up all the vegetables, and then I cut up the meat. And really, I just want a nice brown on both sides of this. What you're doing here basically is cooking down the sausage, and it's releasing the oil or the grease and the moisture. And that's what you're going to take after it's done to season the vegetables with. Hence the reason I said use a sausage you like. Now that it's all cooked down, and you see how much of the oil it released, I'm just going to put this into a bowl. I have gotten it browned on both sides really well. But it just releases the flavor and the spices that is in the sausage. And that's what we're going to cook the vegetables with. Now we're going to add back in, that is a pepper, 4 stalks of celery, and 1 onion. And I've diced it up pretty fine. This is going to go for quite a while, and it's going to just cook down. But here I'm taking my spoodle that I just got for Christmas, and I'm trying to deglaze basically the bottom. The moisture coming off the vegetables also helps with this. This is a process that will take several minutes. This was about 20 minutes of cooking the veggies down. Well, this is unlike me, but I'm out of garlic almost, so we're just going to use what I have. Normally I'd say 5 to 6 cloves, so we'll just add extra garlic powder today. But I want to get this stuff out of my refrigerator. And we're going to do a stock up haul before January. And then we're going to cook from our freezer, cook from our pantry. Not so much as a challenge this year, but I'm just going to not spend as much and see if we can use up. It's more about, in my house, rotating the stock. I cleaned out the pantry and I cleaned out the deep freezer. We had brisket for Christmas, so I got 2 briskets out of my freezer. So I'm starting to see some room again, and I just want to go through everything. I want to use it. I don't want it to go bad. So we're going to cook this for just a few more minutes, and then we'll start adding everything. Cook the garlic. Now we're going to add the sausage back in, and this is where we're going to start adding these seasonings. And then we'll add the beans in the water. I've got Slap Your Mama, I'll post a recipe below. This really is by what flavors you like. I am going to add some smoked paprika. Just gives it a little bit of a smoke flavor that we like. Maybe about a teaspoon. I'm going to probably do quite a bit of garlic because I didn't have the garlic to put in. Do 2 teaspoons of onion powder. And we're going to do about a teaspoon of oregano. The thing with Slap Your Mama is I start out with about 2 teaspoons, 1 to 2 teaspoons, and then I test it, and I just keep adding so I can get the heat level we like on it. I don't do heavy, but keep in mind, I'm also doing a lot of beans, and we're about to add a lot of water to this. So right now, all I'm doing is incorporating the oil from the sausage and the cooked down peppers and onions and celery, and we're warming up those spices. I have drained my beans. Now this is where I usually add in from the Instapot the hot water and the beans. So I'm not doing that. So we're going to have to get this back up to temp. So I'm going to fill this up with water. And then we will have to bring this back up to a low boil and then turn it down and put the lid on. So that was 8 cups of water. Now keep in mind, it depends on if your beans are old. Older the beans, the drier they are, and they need more water. So we're just going to turn this up because, as I told you, I didn't have the hot water from the Instapot to add in. So we're just going to bring it back up, and then we're going to let this cook for a little while. And then after it started cooking and incorporating, that's when I'm going to start testing for the amount of seasoning. Well, I forgot to turn the camera back on. I've got 2 big containers of this, and this one's going to my son at my mom's house, and I've made rice and I've made Italian bread to go with it.